Like a moment, silence. University community has suffered a senseless and horrific act of gun violence. Thank you. Any announcements? Not seeing any. Approval of minutes. Have a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes of the December 4th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Department head report, we have the finance director's monthly report. And that is today. John McNamee.
Thank you, Mr. President. So let's start off with the June 30th, 2024. What you have on the screen is your audited for 23 and the unaudited FY 24. For those in the audience, we do have a draft, preliminary draft of the 24 audit. It's only 124 pages. Got to go through this. There are a little number of open items that we're going to clear up, but we're hoping to get this thing issued in probably early January.
Like,
No. Not tonight.
Mic's on. Your mic on?
My mic, yeah, my mic's. What the numbers that are reflected in the 24, what's being reported on for the general fund on the unaudited preliminary draft. So you can see at this point, we're looking at 1,228,000. It's a little bit lower than I think it was around 1,004,000 initially. So we'll get a little bit better than I thought. There were some adjusting entries I have to go through that the auditors have proposed. I don't believe that any of the additional information I'll be presenting and will have any impact on the general fund. We look at 25. I am starting to go through 25 now to get those numbers ready to get to the auditors in early January so that they can do the work on the 25 audit. I still got a little bit of work I've got to do going through some of the accounts, but right now my preliminary is showing about 1,162,479 for a loss in 25. And that's compared to our budget of 1,116,796. So we're pretty close to where we were on budget. What that's going to do is going to leave us with an accumulated surplus right now, based on the unaudited 24 and the unaudited 25, about 599,401. So that's a little bit better than the 200,000 that I had originally projected. There was, for example, today I was going through the 25 numbers and the total state resources. I mean, if we recall at the last meeting, that number was a little bit lower than what the budget was. The housing aid that we get to offset the debt service was not recorded in 25. So I had to add that. That was $300 and some odd thousand. So that's really what adjusted the fund balance up from the 200 to the 599. I'm hoping there won't be additional surprises, although there are some that I think will be positive in 25. As we move into 20 and move into 26, we've just finished our tax collection period for the second quarter, and those numbers have been pretty good. We're showing, just from a cash flow standpoint, we had, see, I had that here. Go with me. There we go. So we had, for the 5-month period, we had total expenses excuse me, total revenues collected of about 8,206,000. And we spent approximately 7,470,000, leaving us with a positive cash flow of approximately 686. And again, that's as of the beginning of November. We'll have some monies coming in, obviously, through December because of the second quarterly collections. So that leaves us in pretty good stead from a cash flow standpoint. My concern is probably not the first and second quarter. It's probably going to be more into the third and the fourth quarter, especially when we have the payroll that comes in June. So we're going to closely monitor that. On the tax side, we have given all our tangible and motor vehicles over to Rossi Law Firm for the collection based on the approval of the town council for that contract. Been minimal in terms of the collections. We thought that would be the case at this point in time. We are anticipating that in January, we'll be moving along with a tax sale on the real estate side of it. I believe we're looking at somewhere without interest around $300,000 sitting out there. Some of it is fairly old, so we're going to be moving forward on that. Hopefully that'll improve our cash flow as well at this point in time. 26, I think, looks pretty positive. I think we'll probably do a little bit better than budget. I think certainly on the revenue side. And as we look at the 27 budget, we're going to really focus in on getting some good revenue numbers as we present the budget. Because I think that's critical based on what's transpired in the past. So, but other than that, I think expense-wise, we're pretty much on track to budget at this point in time. I don't know if there's any questions. I'd be glad to answer.
You had you're on a call in December 8th with the Auditor General. You report back on that?
Yeah, so we have the Auditor General obviously had been we've been meeting with him on a monthly basis. So, and my last meeting was on the 8th. So at that point in time, what it is, we're unable to make that call, but CLA had helped us with the 2024 numbers was on the call. Department of Revenue was on the call, as well as representatives from the Department of Revenue. So from that standpoint, they were just very glad to see that we had the draft of the financials and on this report, which was the last one I gave to the council, so they could see where we're moving forward in 25 and also where we are in 26. So they were positive about where we're going from where we've been. So I think that was pretty positive. And we've got another one scheduled, I believe, on
The 13th?
January 13th. Yep.
Any other questions, Finance Director? Thank you. John.
He's, we got
Oh, that one, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Patrick. Yeah. Statement.
Oh, sure.
My name is Vincent Kennedy. I'm a resident of Big Drum Road.
And put the mic on.
Yeah, I think it is on.
Green light is on.
It's spring light. Just get close enough to it. Okay. I basically have three questions. I think one with you really anticipated, and that is with respect to any open items on the 24 audit.
Yep.
Are those material matters?
Well, for example, one of them is compensated absences for the town side of the school. We've already provided that, which is an accumulation of sick and vacation time, which was initially accounted for through the payroll system, but stopped when the previous finance director got on board. So I'm recreating that. So, but it's not going to have any impact. It's going to have an impact on those government-wide financial statements at the beginning, which really he looks at, but
The second question is with regard to the status of reconciliations, both with respect, the general ledger and the underlying accounts.
yeah.
With respect to the 25 audit, and are we current in this fiscal year?
This fiscal year, we are. We have the bank reconciliations that are being done on a monthly basis. And we actually have them completed for the 25 year end as well at this point.
Papers are in good order for the 25 audit?
Not yet, but some of it we're waiting for. We need to get those adjustments for 24 rolled forward. Unfortunately, we had to close the year because you can't have 3 years open. So we have to kind of make these adjustments to fund balance, and it gets a little tricky from that standpoint when we roll them forward. So, but we'll get there.
Good, thank you. And with respect to the current year, you mentioned the collection on delinquencies. The budget, I think, incorporates 300,000. How much of that has actually been collected in cash?
I'd have to check that 300,000 because what you get is, so once you go into the 26 year, you've got some of your 25 tax years that in July and August, you wind up picking up a lot of that too. So, but I think we had about 750,000 or so, and then we're down to about 350. So it's around 400,000.
Hold on, thank you.
So I'd just like to,
Mr. Chairman? I haven't got rid of the question, rid to the, please. But under the 300,000, yeah, that's not a net figure, so what do we realize from that?
What do you mean it's not?
In other words, that's in for collection, correct?
No, that's what we actually collected
Oh, okay.
in some of the past due as of the end of 25. So it's June of 25, what we have would have been put.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
so it's really nice to get these reports from our finance director for the moment. I'd like to read his last paragraph. Says the results of the votes at the June financial town meeting enable the town to stabilize its financial operations and has put us on the right course to rebuild our reserves. I cannot emphasize how significant this step was, along with the continued support of the taxpayers. So it appears we're on the right course to become financially stable. So I'd like to thank the finance director for all he's done to make this come to fruition. Thank you, Jan.
Are they behind the minutes? Okay, thank you. Old business one.
Wait, you need to vote to receive.
Motion to vote that we receive the finance director's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh.
Old business one, reservation of the people, agricultural conservancy trust. Heather, how many do we have?
You have 3.
You have 3?
Yes,
Would you set up appointments for interviews for that on our next meeting?
January 8th.
January 8th,
Yep. What time do you want to start?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay?
Thank you. That's okay with everyone else here.
Yep.
Old business 2, town administrator's recommendations for council codification from the allowable bus transportation uses ad hoc committee. Town administrator?
Hi,
Hello, is you gonna be able to work that?
I've got my right-hand man here. He changed my phone. Totally throws me off, yeah. So at your meeting on November 20th, you asked, you sent over to me the task of figuring out what to do next after the committee on the community van policy had given you recommendations. And so tonight I'm reporting to you on next steps to implement that policy. There's nothing in the policy that I deemed to be unworthy of implementation. And so back to you with a report on how we're going to do that. And as a reminder, why do we need a policy? This is sort of the de minimis. Why do we need a policy? I think there are some other issues, and I'll talk about that when I talk about implementation, that this will be an ongoing process, I believe, in terms of figuring out, in particular, how we make decisions about how to use the town vans and,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
my right-hand man is going to turn it up. So some of the things that we needed to do were clarify eligibility for use of the vans, ensure that we're compliant with any applicable rules and regulations. So that includes RIPTA, which actually provided us with one of the vans, and they have some requirements around what we can do with the van, mostly having to do with it has to be available to everybody for everything, except to the extent that our resources make it impossible for us to make it available to everybody for everything, but we need to have some system for making, for prioritizing. And also we needed to make sure that we were okay with the interlocal trust, which is our insurer. And so the committee checked against their requirements. We have to clarify driver requirements. So we have volunteer drivers for the vans. And we need to make sure that we're doing all the proper things to make sure those people are background checked, that they have valid driver's license, and that they go through appropriate training before they're driving the vans. We need to ensure appropriate record keeping by the town, and this is really kind of the focus in the near term that Jonathan and I and the Roaches are going to work on. And we need to clarify and update procedures for scheduling rides. And I want to stop there because I mentioned the Roaches, and I want to just acknowledge the incredible effort that they've put into making this service possible and organizing it and staffing it to date. And so they're an integral part of implementing this policy and have been really helpful already. So next steps are to meet with the Roaches and discuss the implementation. Jonathan will be setting them up with access to appropriate files on town servers. So what we're going to do is they have been maintaining a record keeping system for who requests rides and what happens subsequently in terms of where people go, who's the driver, what's the mileage, how much fuel is used, and maintenance records. So Jonathan's going to set that up so it can all be appropriately housed with the town. And so that we will have access to it so that we can collect appropriate data on how those vans are being used. Jonathan will also work to migrate existing records over to that system. And that the Roaches don't have any trouble with accessing the historical records. Jonathan, it has been and will continue to research scheduling apps and platforms that will allow us to get away from the historical system, which is people call a phone number and leave a voicemail. And Barbara, I believe, mainly picks up the messages and then deals with scheduling. So trying to come up with a system that's a little more transparent and publicly available to a broader audience. And also making sure that for those who are not tech savvy, that we still have a way that they can request rides in an old-fashioned manner. And then importantly, we need to have a memorandum of agreement with any entity, for example, the community center, if they're using the vans and they have paid employees as drivers, those employees have to have a chauffeur's license. And so we need to implement that with anybody who's using the vans without volunteers. That's it. What I would recommend to you is that we come back and report to you on a regular basis. I think there are going to be, once we get, as I said, record keeping is kind of the most immediate focus. I think as we get beyond that, we may need to further develop policies around how we prioritize use. And also, the social services director to make sure that, she's getting good feedback on this, the new system and make sure that, everything's running smoothly. So I would recommend that we come back and report to you on some periodic basis on it.
Do you think, this is outstanding. Thank you for all your work and everyone that was on that ad hoc committee was outstanding.
I didn't do it.
Good. Is the first meeting in May enough time to come back?
Sure.
All right, so I'll make a motion to get an update on the bus. What do we call it? The bus,
Policy, van policy.
van/bus policy, on our first meeting in May.
Second.
Any other discussion?
How do you see this ultimately being, the item says codification of it, how will it be codified? Is it gonna be in the?
Good question. Solicitor, do you have any idea, suggestions?
Yeah, I don't recommend that this be an ordinance. I think it's more in the nature of rules and regulations.
Any other questions and discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Oh, now. Yeah, second microphone. This is 3. Receive update from town administrator for grant and final report from Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank. Is that going up on here too?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
In your packets.
Okay.
Have it if they would care. So in the packets, there's a grant final report, which was submitted by Kim Jacobs, our consultant. She did a fine job of both organizing these projects and submitting the necessary paperwork, including this final report. I want to start by acknowledging Larry Anderson, who got this ball rolling a long time ago when he was on the council. And then actually during my short tenure on the council, I was the liaison to this project and then it was picked up by the town administrator. And I think part of what the final report that Kim filed highlights is that the transitions probably didn't help the project in terms of making sure that we were staying on track and submitting all the necessary documentation to the state to get our reimbursement and to get the projects done. So there's been a little bit of adjustment in terms of what the projects were. I think originally, if I remember correctly, there was also a beach component to this that got moved to other funding sources, I believe. And what was left is 2 parts to this, John Dyer Road and Town Way. The original proposal had some work being done at the east end of John Dyer, and through various discussions, it was decided that the west end was more in dire need of attention.
Word dire or the word me?
Dire. So both projects are now completed. You can see photos in here of what was done. As a result of the completion, we have now been reimbursed by the state $164,000, which was their share. Our share was 25% of the project cost, if I remember correctly. Kim makes some recommendations in here about how to better manage these projects in the future, and I am taking those to heart and will try to implement them as part of overall sort of contract management, grant management procedures in town hall.
So, Anya, I've been, when they did Town Way, where it intersects with Francis Lane, there used to be a berm there. Francis Lane is basically gravel road. So what happens? No berm there now. So when it shoots down the street, it goes into Francis Lane and starting to cause some serious ruts there.
Mhm.
Is there any way we could, and I don't know whether we can call these people back to do it, to put that small berm in there?
I will, that, we've actually been down there to look at the intersection with Oliver Lane as well. And so the engineers from,
It may be Oliver Lane that I'm,
it might be Oliver Lane.
okay, sure.
And so we've been down there. I was down there once with Beta and with the landowner's own engineer. And Beta thinks there are things we can do. I don't have a price on that, and now we're probably beyond the advisable paving season. But I think there are things we can do to make it better. I don't know if we can make it 100% the homeowner wants, but we can probably improve the situation.
Well, if there was a berm there before the road was repaired, they should have put that berm back in there with the price. It shouldn't be at a cost of the town. Now,
There is a berm.
there's a lip there now.
There is a berm there now. It just might not be satisfactory to
Okay.
on the driveway just below Oliver.
Which side of all the land?
No, there's,
The north or the south side?
there's no berm on Oliver.
Not on Oliver,
There's-
no, below that, towards the water.
So I think it's the first right as you're going towards the water where the problem is. I thought that was Francis Lane.
Well, the swale is built to pick up the water from the road beyond Oliver Lane. Okay? On my side of Oliver Lane, which is just east, I'm on the east side
Mhm.
of Oliver Lane. So when you're coming down Oliver Lane, there was a berm on top of the pipe that crossed Oliver Lane on the north side of Oliver Lane. However, now what they've done is they've just put a little rise on the new pipe that was put in there instead of the applied berm. In other words, it's built into the asphalt. A slight amount. It's not the way the other berm was. The other berm was applied.
So if you come down Town Way, it's the first right Francis Lane.
Yes.
Okay, so I think,
First one, no, the first one is actually a road on top. That's a driveway and a road. That's huh? Fay, right. It crosses,
I don't think it's Fay. It's,
no, it's down further.
yeah.
When you go
That's
down,
where the-
it's Francis.
Okay, so I believe it's Francis where the problem is, where the,
Well, there used to be, the berm was up above Francis and kicked the water out further.
right.
All right, so now the water hugs the grass and everything on that side, and it turns in a little.
Down Francis Lane.
I think we're going to put this on the agenda for January and see if we can get Beta to come talk about it. Maybe a picture, so everyone else that's listening.
Ed may have.
Who was here? I'm the public works director. Nobody's told me any problems about Frank.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put it on the agenda. It's not on the agenda, so we don't want to break any open meetings violations today. Haven't broken one yet, so I'm not gonna try today. So can we put that on the agenda, Anya, for January?
Sure.
We'll get Beta down, we'll get Ted involved.
Which meeting?
Whatever one that we could get Beta down for. So Anya, let us know.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, new business. What?
Want to vote?
I'm sorry, what?
Talking about this.
I don't think we need to vote on anything there.
Thank you, for this report. I learned all kinds of things that I had, since I departed from the task of. And so I was interested in how the project evolved afterwards. And among the things that included in the report is a section called lessons learned.
Mhm.
And I want to read one paragraph if that's the case. So it asks, for us to report, for time to report, lessons learned, project implementation. And this is what we reported. And so perhaps the most important lesson learned is that every municipal branch project is a local project leader, either a staff member or town consultant, who is responsible to maintain the project schedule in compliance with the granted agreement. During this project, there was a number of town staff changes in various departments engaged with this project, finance department, DPW administration. Without a clear project lead and staff change occurred, the project schedule and reporting was not maintained. As advice from all municipalities fortunate to have a project selected, grant funding is to identify a project lead, staff member or town consultant at the outset of the project, who functions as liaison with the administrator is accountable for the overall success of the project. That's a very practical recommendation for the council and the administrators going forward. And what I was reminded of is at the time that we launched this, the council had also launched a more ambitious road assessment and road program. The council then launched a program to renovate town hall. Actually, put out a substantial bond for some of these projects. There were other smaller projects that were taking place at the time. More modest work at Wilbur Woods. And in retrospect, I'm thinking that we expected a lot of our town administrator at the time coming in a program where there was no town planner, no town engineer. And in fact, in my observation, we were sort of asking that person to do a lot of the project management coordination for multiple simultaneous projects. So I think that this is a very practical, going forward, this is a very practical and important measure to take. And the good news is that you'll recall that when we did this grant, we were winging it. We had no plans for John Dyer Road or for the town, we had no engineering plans. So there's no wonder it took a while to get practical plans, but all the projects we identified did get done. And that John Dyer Road was the most substantial than what we proposed. So the good news is that they all got done with the help of that funding, which will need, as I said, under previous occasions, such as the Taylor's Lane thing, we need this support, Mr. Bank and others, to keep up with our needs. So I'm glad to see that we've accomplished the project, and I'm glad to see that we've learned something from it. I hope. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great job, Larry. We can't say enough about, it was like watching your kid, go through kindergarten, then high school and college. We got there. So for your inception, that was great. And bring it over the line, Anya, that was good. Thank you. Heather, you say that I don't need to get a vote for anything.
You want to accept Anya's?
You want to accept Anya's thing? I'll accept a motion to do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. New business one, accept a letter of resignation from Lucy D. Hamel, effective November 20th, 2025, from the Little Compton Free Public Library trustee.
Motion to accept with regret and have the council president send her a letter of thank you.
Second.
And then make a motion to advertise that position.
Second, the full motion.
It has.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. New business two, proclamation honoring Frances E. Wilbur for her 100th birthday on January 9th, 2026. Heather and Bob, I think you've both been working on this one.
Yeah.
With your concurrence, perhaps we would not reveal specifically the precise wording since it's intended to be presented. But I don't think there's any, the issue then would be, my motion would be that we accept the draft proclamation honoring this and then that would be able to be presented at the appropriate time, which is not being disclosed this evening.
I'll second that motion.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that enough time to grab that?
That was great.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. New business 3, request from DPW director to hire a temporary worker. This I have Anya, Tony, and our DPW director on my way down here. Who'd like to start with that one?
I can start with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Ted's going to join me in case you have any specific questions about this, but in summary, Ted has one full-time employee going out on medical leave for somewhere between 6 and 12 weeks, we think. And he would like to hire a temporary employee to cover during that period. You can see in the memo that he provided that he estimates the cost at $11,500 if it was the full 12 weeks. He and I will work together to identify a source of funds for this within the DPW budget. And he makes a case, which I think is a good one, that it's going to be a real stress on the team, particularly during the winter when they have to do plowing and sanding, to cover everything with them being down one full-time person, particularly given that they cover the transfer station. So that's the request. And
Advertising.
Ted, is there anything you wanted to?
I don't know if you have any questions, but I lose a guy 2 days a week to work the transfer station because we have a part-timer working up there. So with this one person out, that will leave me with only one other person working the road on those 2 days. And then if snow removal, guys are working long hours. Also have an ice patrol. We got to rotate through that. Freezing roads in the mornings, prior to the commute. So someone's got to get up and go out, get the sander out and spread on the town, starting at the north end, working their way south. But it's going to be pretty tough if this one person is out.
So there's going to have to be advertised?
No,
No?
this is not something is lawful. Under the collective bargaining, there are 2 provisions that allow for this proposal that you have from your DPW director. That's Article 2, Section F, under management rights, but more specifically, under Section A8 of the collective bargaining agreement. In a period of the vacancy, the employer has the right to fill on a temporary basis. So this isn't something that you can do it if you want, but this is a temporary position. It can be filled and it's authorized under the collective bargaining agreement. So
Is it the DPW director's decision to who to hire, or does that have to be ratified by the town council? Just so we're on legal ground here.
Collective bargaining agreement says employer. What I don't know is what the situation is right now and when this has to be done. That's my only concern. The next meeting is in 3 weeks.
Do you have somebody?
Don't have anybody. The surgery is not scheduled until the end of January. It was the 24th or the 26th, somewhere in that area.
Do you want to advertise?
If we think we can find somebody, I want somebody to have a little bit of skill.
If this is a 5-week situation, when the position is going to be filled, to the extent that it can be advertised, and it probably should, but also then it should be authorized by the town council.
Let's hear it, Gary. Make
We're
it.
going to make a motion that we advertise for a temporary DPW employee as stipulated by the bargaining agreement, and anything looked over by the town solicitor and then approved by the town council.
I'll second it. Any other discussion?
Aren't we to include anything that allows a offer of employment as we do with the chiefs? an offer of employment, a conditional offer of employment to someone that they may be able to find, such that they return to that meeting and are able to provide us a name that we can just simply concur in.
Solicitor.
We could get that person on board and beginning, and then we could
I'll add that to my motion.
I would appreciate that if that's possible.
I'll second it again. All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
So
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for all your work. New business 4, appoint recreation committee member to fill unexpired term ending February 1st, 2026. So motion?
I'll move, Amanda Nicholson as the senior activity.
No.
Wait, we're on,
And recreation.
we're on recreation.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Mike Rocha.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I did it the way we interviewed him.
No. New business 5. Appoint conservation commission member to fill unexpired term,
Motion,
January 31st, 2027.
motion to appoint Adam Yorks.
A second.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Might there be just a comment there? We were able to interview two very capable people, and the feeling is that we are placing on the committee the person with direct recent experience. I would encourage the other candidate, Malcolm Bowen, to retain his enthusiasm for the appointment, because I think he is the man of the.
Future leader, for sure. I did my all in favor there, did I?
Yeah. Can't do that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. New business 6, offer of employment for a part-time senior activity coordinator.
Here we go. We're gonna make a motion to appoint Amanda Nicholson. Toasty.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Any further discussion?
I'd like to concur with Bob that we did quite a few interviews. We started at 5:30 this morning, all the. Well, I've been here since 5:30. I guess it's been a while. I meant 5:30. That's when I get up, so I guess that's on my mind. But since 5:30 this afternoon, so they were all very good applicants, and I hope they all reapply for the position if that comes back up.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business 7, request letter from Willowbrook Man School Principal John P. McKinnon for student financial support for the Yale Youth Diplomacy Program. 5 students, $100 each for them to go watching, and their experience there at Yale. I think it's wonderful. It's another great thing coming out of our school. I fully support it. I make a motion for $1,000 to support this. Have a second.
Contingency.
Second.
The contingency fund. Have a second. Any further discussion? Yes, go to the microphone, please.
Just for clarification purposes, this request is for the cost of the program only. The lodging is being paid for by the students' parents. So this does not include any lodging and food or anything, just the program.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
8, request from Recreation Committee to accept John LaRue's updated report dated December 9th, 2025, for the Compton School Playground, and use the findings of this report as guidance for future operational and capital budget issues.
Motion to accept this report and have the town administrator keep on top of it
And put it on file.
and place it on file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
New business 9, request from Recreation Committee recommending emergency spending for up to $15,000 for the repair of the suspension bridge portion of the playground as soon as possible. So I spoke with the town administrator about this and Solicitor DeSisto. is $93,000 in the Rhode Island Bank. Maintenance and upkeep replacement. And also there's $5,000 set aside in their budget for the playground. Anya, have we gone any further on how we want to address this one?
No, I believe I understood what you just said. You said there's,
How we want to address the request for the $15,000?
what I would like to do is consult with the Recreation Committee, whether this needs to happen right away, or if there's something we can do as a temporary measure to make it safe. For example, taking the bridge down and making it so that kids can't go on that part of the playground, and I would like to come back to you on this recommendation.
Great, thank you. Solicitor, anything you want to add about this money in the bank?
You know, we've gone around about that for other iterations and for other considerations on it. But I do think that this is money that can be accessed for these particular repairs.
It's my understanding these funds that are in place at the Rhode Island Foundation. Are we talking about the same?
I'm not sure. That's what I didn't understand. The 93,
Yes.
I don't know anything about that.
Playground Committee, which existed in Little Compton for many years from the time. You can give us much more about that, but from the time that we began with restoring the playground, those funds, when the Playground Committee was disestablished, were handed over to the Rhode Island Foundation to maintain them. And this is a completely appropriate use of those funds. In other words, that's what they're there for.
Okay, then I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I knew nothing about those.
That's okay.
I agree with your statement. That's the correct statement.
Maybe,
So I think we're able to simply, whoever needs to direct that, the Recreation
right,
Committee.
I'm just gonna look at that, right, and come
Come
back
back
to
and
this.
tell us.
Or if there's money sitting there and it's 15 and you got 93 and you think this is an appropriate use of the funds, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where the funds were supposed to come from, so.
All right, that was my fault. I thought you were privy to the email. That's okay. We can discuss. Sure, go ahead, Red Up.
Questions as soon as possible, so. I mean, to put it all, I think is unnecessary.
I think that the town administrator is gonna talk to someone tomorrow about it. Say ASAP.
Yes, I think the only question in my mind is, are you authorizing the expenditure of the 15 out of that 93? If so, I can chase that down. If you want to come back, I can do that too.
Can I make a suggestion? I think you should. And with that authorization, go to the Rhode Island Foundation. There were some issues with how the money had been deposited there and exactly how to extract it. But to me, the first move would be for the town council to interpose the motion that I think Mr. Mushin is going to do.
I move that the town administrator be directed to access 15,000 of the balance that is at the Rhode Island Foundation on behalf of the former Little Compton Recreation Committee,
I mean, it's,
Playground Committee, excuse me, not Recreation, Playground Committee
for maintenance.
for maintenance.
And for this specific one that you have here, this bridge situation.
For this.
The
bridge
maintenance of the bridge maintenance. I'll second the motion. Do you have it, Heather?
Yep.
Any further discussion? All there?
Aye.
Thank you. Communications from Mimi Carlson, protection of water Rhode Island statewide planning program. Is Mimi Carlson here? I don't, no, okay.
Make a motion to place this on file since it's been sent to the chairman of the planning board and Mr. Anderson.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Thank you. Communications C, request from the task assessor for a list of abatements to be approved.
This abatement's pretty self-explanatory. It's adjusted land value to reflect wetland and current farm forest and open space plan. So I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second,
Aye.
aye.
Consent not, payment of bills.
Motion to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You motion to adjourn.
Second.
Step up.
In regards to the earlier discussion tonight about the allowable bus. You mentioned about going to involve in that. At what point would that go? Would that go after the review in May, or would that go now? How will that process look like? So we have this.
I actually didn't say what should be rules and regulations, and that would be after this process. The last step would be incorporate rules and regulations.
After we do our original.
I say yes. After you do the review, then regulations.
Like, just to be clear, with whom is this review going? This between the school committee and,
No, I believe this is the
Plus issue.
right,
This,
right, I understand the, what it is, but with whom is the discussion still remaining?
My understanding is the discussion will be between myself, actually, Jonathan, I think the social services director should be involved as well, and the volunteer coordinators, which is the Roaches. We have a written policy that you approved at your last or your November meeting, and I don't know if that needs to be codified in any way, but that will be the policy going forward. And for example, we will provide that to the interlocal trust as our policy.
Right. And the form that it will take is,
I don't recommend it.
it will be a, what was the term?
Regulations.
A rules and regulations, document that describes how it works.
Correct. And I'm not trying to throw the policy under the bus, but I think it comes up to a higher level at the rules and regulations.
The van.
Fires. Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Second? Second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.